Evening. So, if you remember, the land of Israel was divided by a river. And on the Jordan River, you had 2.5 tribes that were on the eastern side, Reuben, Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh. And then you had the other 10-ish tribes that were on the west side of the Jordan. And that was the rest of them. There was those people who lived on the other side of the Jordan all by themselves. When they first arrived in that area, Moses was leading them, and they said, hey, can we just have the land here? And Moses got really mad at them and said, y'all are just trying to be lazy and stay over here and not go fight with your brothers when they're going to go take the land. And they're like, no. Well, let's build houses for our families and all that, but we'll send all of our men and we'll go in and we'll take the land and we'll lead the charge. We'll go ahead of everybody. And so Moses was like, okay, yeah, we'll let that happen. We'll let you go and do that. And so they did that. They were faithful in what they said they were going to do. They went over, and the entire book of Joshua is about how they helped conquest the land of Canaan. But in Joshua 22, something happens. Well, at this point, Moses was dead. It was Joshua who was leading. And you have these people from Reuben, Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh. They were getting ready to cross over the Jordan to go back home with their families. And what they did is they started building this gigantic altar before they crossed back over the Jordan River. Now, if you know anything about the Israelites and building altars, they don't have a good track record, by the way. There was this time, do you remember what happened when Moses was on Mount Sinai? They had dabbled with, worshiping the golden calf. That wasn't great, and God was really upset with them. And the entire nation, they were unfaithful to the Lord. So imagine that you're an Israelite and you see this group of people who had just helped you so much getting ready to cross over. Now they build this huge altar. It's like, what in the world? God didn't say to do that. They are obviously trying to worship idols or something. And you know what those 10 tribes of Israel started doing? They started gathering for war. They picked up their war stuff, and they got this big group, and they were going to come, and they were going to go, and they were just going to wipe them out. It was let's kill them all. Their own brothers. Think about that. So they get up there and they get ready to do that. But before they actually break out in civil war, Phinehas, the high priest, and one leader from each of the 10 tribes, they go and they approach the 2.5 tribes, and they're like, guys, what are you doing? We weren't able to go and land because of that. This was the big deal. And what the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh said is, oh, no. It's not like that. What we want to do is we want to build a memorial on this side of the Jordan River, not the side they live on. This side of the Jordan River, we want to build this as a memorial. So that way we can teach our children that in the years to come when they're born, it's we're divided by this river, but we stand united because we fought alongside of these guys. And that's why we have that altar, so we can point to that and be see, that was us. We did that. We were all in this together. And so think about what's happening here. You have this group of people on the west side of the Jordan that wanted to do this great thing so that they could teach their children. That was a great thing, wasn't it? You want to teach your children. But they didn't ask God about it. And they didn't tell anybody else what they were doing either. But then you got this group of people who were on this side of the Jordan that see the people that were fighting alongside with them. Man, they're just going crazy and worshiping idols now. Both sides weren't looking at the other side the right way. Isn't it easy to jump to conclusions? I think a lot of times, especially with social media, we get so divided so quickly because we see somebody that posts something or they'll say something, and then it's just automatically, you could feel your blood start to boil a little bit. And what do you want to do in that moment? Well, if you could reach them, you might want to be violent. I hope not. But what happens a lot of times is we'll see something and we'll just immediately start I'm just going to fire back something at him real quick. And we get so upset and we fire back this angry response. A lot of times we do that before we even consider, wait, why are they sharing this? What are they sharing exactly? What is this actually saying? Is this true? Is this a reputable source? And all of those things. Sometimes I think we're just so quick to jump to the worst possible conclusion, not giving anybody any kind of benefit of the doubt. And that could be destructive, and that could be dangerous. Just like the Israelites were ready to go to civil war and literally kill their brothers, sometimes we are not any better than that. Sometimes we are just a little bit too quick to jump to a conclusion without really hearing what the matter is. There's a couple of proverbs about that. Proverbs 18, verse 13, if one gives an answer before he hears, it's to his folly and his shame. And then we also have that passage in Romans 12:18 that says, if it's possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And you know what? A lot of times peace does depend on us. Because sometimes, let me just say, some people are trying to post things or say things just to get you angry, to get you riled up. Sometimes they're not, but sometimes they are. But what we can't do is give in to that and try to fire back with something angry. On both sides of this problem with these Israelites, both sides could have done something different. And both could have handled this in a much better way. Hey, why don't you ask them while they're doing that first before you get your swords? Let's see what's actually going on here. But this is just so much how we are sometimes. And even if we're right about something, if we are right very loudly, then that can actually become wrong. And that's something we have to watch in ourselves, of how we answer, how we respond, and what we do in relationship to others. So we need to be very cautious about how we approach people, And it's not just online, it's like in real life too. We have to watch out for that, because we're so tempted just to jump to the wrong conclusions and get so angry. But what the Lord offers us is a peace that passes all understanding. He allows us to have that perspective of being part of a kingdom that's greater than this world. So it doesn't really matter what other people think, say, do. They can't take the Lord away from you. And our invitation to you tonight is, do you have a relationship with the Lord? Are you ready to meet him? If you came back right now, where would you end up? And so if there's anything that we can do to assist you in obeying the Lord and becoming a Christian or renewing your commitment, please don't hesitate. Come as we stand and sing.